We've covered it over the years, just about how when the Jets left in '96, things were not looking so great. And fast forward now to 24, soon going into 25, it's looking like almost history is repeating itself with the Jets. They're having a hard time selling out the building. I mean, I know we talked about it with the Pride celebration. They barely scratched 12,000 seats in the rink. And the only sellout they've had this season is the Leafs game. Obviously, Leafs fans, they're crazy. They go everywhere. They'll sell out every single building, even in Phoenix. But it's a shame. 15,000 seat arena, Canada Life Center, downtown Winnipeg. Winnipeg is horny for hockey. They love their hockey. I mean, we're patriotic Winnipeggers ourselves, but it's just a shame because with the Canadian dollar being the way that it is, with the economy being the way that it is, if you got to choose between putting food on the table for your kids and season tickets, you're picking food on the table every single time. And the Jets are actually pretty reasonably priced. I was looking for some tickets when I'm coming back to Winnipeg. I got a trip scheduled for February. And you can get tickets to the Carolina game for like $40 on Ticketmaster. It's dirt cheap. And then you look at when I'm going to Montreal the next week, tickets start like $150. So it's not like the tickets are expensive, but the dollar and everything tanking. I mean, the best team in the league too. You'd think that at 12-1 with such great goaltending, great offense, everything, that you'd be able to sell at the barn, but they're having a hard time. And I worry, Dave, that the Jets might leave. Maybe not this season, but in the near future, maybe the next 3 to 5 years, if this keeps out the way it's going.
No, that's not happening. I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. The support for the Jets hasn't gone away. I mean, there's probably even more so now than ever, but you're absolutely right. I mean, you couple the economy that's going on here in Canada, right? I mean, the dollar isn't great, and people are the decision isn't, hey, are we going out for dinner tonight? Are we going to the Jets game? Is it, are we paying the hydro bill or are we paying the internet bill this month? And I'm hearing more and more of that every day. I mean, the amount of people that are lined up at food banks, the amount of people that are starting their shopping at the dollar store rather than at Safeway, that's increasing more. So it doesn't mean that the love for the Jets has gone away. It doesn't mean that people aren't supporting. It doesn't mean they're not watching at home. It doesn't mean that they're not gathering together and watching it in groups. But going down, paying for parking, paying for a ticket. I mean, that's $40 for one ticket. Are you going by yourself? Are you bringing a family member? Are you bringing the whole family? Now that's gone up. Are you having dinner there? Are you going right after work? I mean, that's an expensive night. And it doesn't mean that the people don't want the Jets here. The Jets aren't going anywhere. Gary Bettman has been very clear on that. I don't think there's any risk of us losing the team anytime soon. I mean, for at least the next 2-3 decades. And there would have to be something extreme. Like there would have to be an extreme drop-off for it to happen. So I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But
well, I don't want to be pessimistic because I'd love the Jets, but when the dollar was at 63 cents, 62 cents when they left in 96, and we're hovering at 69, 70 cents on the dollar right now, Canada, US dollar. I even remember they had like $12 million they raised back in 96. Kids were smashing open their piggy banks, dropping off change outside the front of the rink because they wanted the Jets to stay. So I hope that you're right. I hope I'm wrong, but I worry because I love the Jets. I'm patriotic about it, just like you are, and I hope that nothing bad happens anytime soon to our amazing team.
No, I don't think it will. I think the fact that they're still supporting in other ways. I think that we're hopefully going to be on the upswing here in the next year or so, and of course when playoffs roll around, and we are an absolute world beater right now, and hopefully that continues on this season. I mean, on the way the Jets are going right now, they're only going to lose about 15 games this season, and that's going to put them in a top seed, and everyone's going to show up in the playoffs. And I mean, evidence of that was round one when the Jets were playing against Colorado last year. They had as many people outside as they did inside, so there's no lack of support. It's just the dollar's not doing good right now, and Winnipeg's not exactly a rich city by any stretch. So, those fans that scraped everything they could just to get tickets are now looking to maybe say, hey, maybe I can sell these and put food on my table. That's a real thing that's happening. That's not pretend. It's not. And I know other franchises and teams around the league are looking at it going, oh, look at Winnipeg. They're not supporting their team. Oh, no, we're supporting our team, but we're also supporting our family too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how do you think you fix it, though? I know you've talked lots of times about Winnipeg is sitting on a gold mine of opportunity and wealth, but afraid to cash it in with different, economic endeavors. But as far as like keeping the Jets in town and like, do you just ride it out if you're the owner, if you're Mark Chipman and David Thompson? What do you do?
100%. You have to ride it out. The better times are coming. I mean, not to get too deep into the politics, but this province literally is sitting on a gold mine with the amount of lithium that they have here and the amount of the silica sands. They're sitting on a winning lottery ticket. They're just too big of chickens to be cashing it in right now, especially with access to the Northwest Passage. I mean, we are a coastal province, and there have been
Can you explain that for people that don't understand? How is Manitoba a coastal province, though?
Well, we sit on Hudson's Bay, and Churchill is a major port. And, I've mentioned this before, but something that Russia, and not that I'm comparing, please don't jump down my throat, but in comparison, Russia has been running through the equivalent of their Northwest Passage rather than going through the Suez Canal. They're actually running through what they're calling it a Silk Road because the polar ice caps have melted so much that trek through the northern part of the hemisphere is a lot easier now with a lot of these container boats, and they're shipping things to China and Europe way quicker than they would if they were going the long way around. And very similar to the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal here in North America, in Panama, I guess it's Central America, but that is the thinnest part of land to get from Atlantic to Pacific. Before they finished off the Panama Canal in 1912, they were using the Northwest Passage. So, I mean, Manitoba and Winnipeg was booming in the early 1900s until the Panama Canal finished. Panama Canal, from what I understand, they need about $2 billion or else the canal's about to cave in on itself. And if it does, the Northwest Passage could be the only other option to get things into North America quicker. So you come in through Hudson's Bay, you come down through Churchill by the rail line, then you get everything out, and it literally is in the center of the entire continent. So the fact that that's available and it could be happening, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, you got to ride this out. You have to ride this out. The amount of money that David Thompson and Mark Chipman in particular have put into downtown Winnipeg they just bought Portage Place Mall. They're going to be completely redoing that, putting in affordable housing. They're going to be putting in a hospital down there. They're building hotels. They built, True North Square. The amount of investment that they've put into downtown, they have to stick through it. Like they're not letting this go.
You know, it'd be great to see if what they could do is if they would take like Winnipeg Union Station, they turn it into a hub for like buses, and even if they had like a monorail to get people up and down downtown or bring people into downtown, because everything is just so crazy with how dangerous it's getting out there, and with people not being able to afford to even have a vehicle. If you could have those buses and those trains running, I mean, I know you talked about the idea of getting trains out of the city and having buses run up and down those lines where the tracks used to be throughout the city, have it be like a high-speed transit, make it affordable. That there's so many opportunities there to make Winnipeg great. The same way that Vancouver's done with Waterfront Station, with their SkyTrain and the Rapid Transit and the C-Bus and whatnot. It's a shame because I'd love to see Winnipeg succeed.
Yeah, and they will. And believe me, I've been here for over 20 years now, and the potential's always been there. But the motto of Winnipeg for Manitoba has been steady growth. Just steady. No big booms up and down like they do out in Alberta with the oil. It's just steady. Steady increase, steady increase, steady increase. And I'm hoping at one point we're going to see a big spike and then we can be steady up at the top. But, after over 20 years here, I'm starting to wonder if that's going to happen. But it's been on the precipice for so long.
I love calling Vancouver home in the summers, but if Winnipeg could shape up a bit, I would love to move back at a nice spot. Get downtown Winnipeg, the amount of action you get there at the True North Square and the Forks and whatnot, that'd be something special, but I guess we'll see how that shapes up.
I would put Winnipeg's summers against Vancouver's any day. We have long summer days. We have beautiful weather.
Way too humid, Winnipeg.
No, it's dry as a popcorn fart out here. What are you talking about?
It's so hot. Vancouver barely gets above 20. Winnipeg's always 30 and above.
Perfect. Love it. Give me the
Hate
heat.
it. Can't stand it. Hey,
You're too tall. You're too close to the sun. That's the problem.
I know. Well, that's a me problem. I guess it just sucks to suck.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We do a new podcast every single Sunday during the season called Sling the Biscuit. It is a non-mainstream hockey podcast, so we talk about my hockey career, the minor pros, Spain, the Fed, you name it, all the stuff that you won't hear in the mainstream news.
Music,
Pop culture.
politics, a little bit.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon.